right, hey guys, welcome back to the Underground. Welcome to another episode of Interactive Chat Volume 1. This is my occasional little podcast discussion chat that I like to have with you guys every now and again, just to touch base. And, I usually do PSVR Gamescast live around this time with PSVR Without Parole, but Brian's taking a little vacation. Hope he needs some much needed rest. So hopefully, as soon as he comes back, I'll be back to that as normal. But since we had the chance here, wanted to sit down and chat with you guys for a little bit about a couple things, about a lot of things actually. This channel only covers PlayStation VR, but I'm a big PlayStation guy overall. I've been a PlayStation fan since the mid-90s when it first launched. It absolutely blew my mind. And I've pretty much followed it ever since then. So I have a lot of other knowledge of things that have happened, like just with the PlayStation brand, and experienced each generation, a lot of changes. And so I've gathered my thoughts here today to come chat with you guys about, having this month marks the 1 year anniversary of PlayStation 5. So gonna do a little review, tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly for what I've experienced as a PlayStation VR user mostly, as well as, thoughts on leadership and the new regime that has taken over since 2019, I think, and a lot of different things. So, of course, this is interactive chat. So I want to interact with you as much as possible, like you, T-Rex fan, and Blue Jew, the Underground Game Cat, and Gabriel 004, the licensing bound Game Cat. All you are is History, Johnny Moles, Hasib Mirza, Guy Sun Fist Bump to you, Raul Julia, Confused Game Cat, and Song in the Flame Cat, and everyone else joining. Thank you guys so much for joining. Appreciate you guys. Nihilus Ryan, the Game Feline, already in with a donation. Says, thanks for carrying the torch, AJ, for sure, man. Of course, like to do these whenever, Brian gets sick or just, has to take a break for a little bit. We're all human. We're all made of flesh and bone and gooey stuff and need to let that rest and cool off for a little bit because he goes hard, man. We all go pretty hard with our content creator. Being a content creator is not something I ever expected to do. And it's been a joy, an absolute joy to do it, especially spreading the good word about PSVR and VR. But it's definitely not something I ever thought I would be doing or anticipated doing. I typically like to be behind the scenes and didn't like to show my face and just wanted to go by God canon. And, but I said, somebody's got to do it, right? We need somebody to fight for PSVR from the beginning, that stance has now changed a little bit because before it was all VR is a gimmick, VR is like 3D TVs, and now it's very much like a different tone, but still lots of doubt over it. And we're not where we want to be yet, but we're on the right track. And there's been monumental growth over the last couple of years. It's been so exciting, such a fun ride. Blue Jew, the Underground, thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate you. I'm going to be trying to keep up with the chat as much as possible as well, because, I want to hear what you guys have to say, too. This platform, this channel is not about me. This channel is about us and the community and trying to, for those who don't have a place to voice their opinion, have a place for you to be able to share your thoughts, your opinions on things, too, because we all have different opinions. We all have different experiences. We're all different types of gamers. So I think it's really important that I listen to each and every one of you. And that gives me, when I have to sit in front of a microphone, to have a little bit more, my aim will be a little bit more true with your guys' guidance and make sure that, I don't want to always just be speaking for myself here. Hasid Mirza says, isn't the calm before the NGVR storm good for Without Parole? Yeah, I mean, we're doing fine, man. We're doing okay, other than just surprisingly, there's been lots of growth in our channels, and it's been really nice. If we can survive during these times, Brian and I talked when it was New Year's Eve. We talk a lot on the phone, but we talked on New Year's Eve, and we were like, what is it going to look like moving forward? We knew that this year was going to be really difficult for us. And it has been, but I'll be honest with you, the first 6 months were the hardest part. The after summer kicked off with Sniper Elite and Arashi and Fracked and Blair Witch and all these games, things have been pretty good overall. The problem is, this is the main problem I have, is that Sony's not selling tons of headsets like they used to, because ever since the Quest 2 came out, it has offered something newer, better, some better tech in it. And especially when it comes to tracking, and wireless is nice. The price is a lot lower, and it's starting to get the games too. They've taken a page out of Sony's book, so yeah. Let's see. So let's kick things off, guys. Welcome everybody, man. It's so good to see you guys, and that's what I'm talking about. That's why Brian and I have been able to survive, is because of you guys. All of you here, all of you watching later, and supporting us through thick and thin. We will always be here regardless. But to have your support is what really helps us, and just appreciate you guys, man. So happy November. It is November 1st, 2021. And, had a great Halloween. Hopefully everyone had a great Halloween. Last month was great for releases. We had a bunch of games come out. It was pretty fun. A lot better than last year. So, Jay Meow, appreciate the donation. I will get to that in just 1 second, actually. So I'm here kind of to both celebrate the 1 year anniversary of PS5 as well as review it, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows as I'd like. There are some great things, and there are also some big negatives, and we will get to that very soon. The other thing is that, what do we know about PSVR 2? Jay Meow says with the donation, 1 through 10, how confident are you in a December reveal? I would say, honestly, I have reasons to be a 10 out of 10 in my confidence. But just because things can change, you never know what's going to happen. I'm going to say I'll still keep it high at like 9 out of 10, like 9.9 out of 10 chance for error. But everything I'm pointing to, this is what I'm looking at right now. It is November. It is 1 year ago PSV5 came out. So I think this month is going to have a huge focus on PS5, the console itself, and talk about the success it's had. It's outsold PS4 in its starting days. It has sold, I think, about 13 something million right now within the first year, which is really, really great. It's in a good spot, but I still, it's not enough for me. Sony has this great reputation, and I really feel like that's been a big thing that has been pushing them. Stuff like exclusives. They have this awesome identity that's linked to games. The hardware has always been good, but that's how it's been able to survive over the last couple years. That's how it's been able to survive and grow. Is the games, the identity, the branding. And as a PlayStation gamer, lifelong PlayStation gamer, that is what's kept me around. I'm excited to see. I'm hoping they do something really big, really special. You'd have to imagine. Now, this is the thing. We don't have, Shuhei is no longer the head of PlayStation Studios, Worldwide Studios PlayStation. Sean Layden is gone. Jack Tretton, who was the old CEO, president, now has been replaced by Jim Ryan. President of PlayStation Studios is now Herman Hulst. And these guys, they came in with a big mindset of, as far as I know right now, from what I've seen, they're very business oriented. And that's not necessarily always a bad thing, but we're definitely used to seeing PlayStation be about, when Herman Hulst came up and said, it was him or Jim Ryan, they came up and said, we want to be the leaders in storytelling. The reason I bring that up sometimes is because I don't think that's necessarily why I'm a PlayStation gamer, is because of storytelling. I think that is something they've had a lot of success with lately. Stuff like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, these Last of Us, of course, these are great stories to be told, and I agree that they are very, very important. Story can really transcend just a video game experience into something a lot more memorable. But to me, what I loved about the old regime was they were about creativity and innovation and entertainment and gaming entertainment. And that's kind of where I've always landed, is I'm more about what's the new game with the new types of gameplay that's innovating, that's intuitive controls, that's brand new stuff. That to me is what I look for the most. And that's kind of why I went to VR originally, because I got tired of, I used to love third-person, over-the-shoulder games. That's how I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to see my character. And with PS4, I was like, oh, wow, this is so much more immersive with this more detailed world. But then when VR happened, I was like, oh, my God, this is way more immersive. This puts me in the game. This also, I think the most exciting for me was I'm getting to experience these new levels of interactive gameplay that I've never experienced before. And that to me is what has been it super special for me. Stuff like Farpoint with the aim controller and, the Saints and Sinners and all these games. You've got Song in the Smoke, which I just finished earlier on stream, and you're crafting and you're bashing these things together. And it's taken me 3 years to go back to play flat screen games. It took me 3 years before I was able to play flat screen games again, because I was just everything VR. And there's so many games that I'm like, oh, I just wish this was in VR. Like, it's weird how it kind of changes you. It's almost like you can't go back. It's kind of like, I don't know. There's some games I can still very much enjoy, but there's definitely a lot of times where I get a little tired of it. But real quick, Triangulator, thank you so much for the donation, man. Wow, thank you. Says Joe AJ, we appreciate you. Brobocop, thanks, my dude. You're my dude. You're all my dude. Oh, man. But anyways, so, it has just been such an exciting time, such an exciting event to be a part of this. And I really think we're all, we didn't all get into this because it was popular. No, that's probably the opposite of why we got in. We got into this because it's something new. It's something we had yet to experience, and we've seen how amazing it can be. So, just really appreciate you guys all for being a part of this journey. And that's what I said when when Herman Hulse says, we are the new storytellers, or we're a storytelling company. It's like, okay, that's fine, but it can be so much more than that. So to kick off, I want to address some questions here. Like I said, I'm trying to keep up with it. There's so many of you. Thank you guys so much, man. I'm trying to keep up with you. I'm happy to be doing this. I'm really for you feeling sick in the chat, feel better, by the way. I saw some questions about Grand Theft Auto. I will address that. Let me write this down. There's this thing about Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So that was just announced for Oculus Quest recently, and there's good reason to believe it's exclusive. However, I'm pretty confused by the reporting on it. A lot of people are reporting that it is exclusive, and I didn't see anything from the official words, official Rockstar or Oculus. Usually, any company that the game is exclusive to, they will say exclusively for we are developing blah 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 exclusively for this, or coming exclusively to so and so. No team ever passes up the chance to say that. What up, Dave Station? Good to see you, homie. And so while I could understand, because of the work that Facebook or Meta or whatever the hell it's called is putting into the game, I could see it being an exclusive or a timed exclusive. But I was just really shocked still that people were reporting that, because it's not official that it's exclusive. So I just don't think you should say that when it isn't yet. But I understand the reasoning behind it. But for me, regarding that subject, there's there's a partnership with Rockstar and Sony. They have a deal that basically had them launch They kicked off, I think, the PS5 event reveal. I think it was maybe they kicked that off with Grand Theft Auto, and then said it was coming. There's like an online PS5 mode or something like that. It's actually separate. So this is the deal, guys. This is what I think. I certainly hope to get San Andreas on PSVR as well. I think that'll please a lot of people. It'll make a lot of people happy. It's a very like sentimental kind of value that I think a lot of people will take seriously and would love, and it could sell some headsets. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do, is sell headsets. So I think it was a very smart move on them. However, I'd be absolutely shocked if, I mean, for me personally, I think we'll be getting Grand Theft Auto 5, basically. To put it, long story short, can save a lot of time here. I think we'll be getting like Grand Theft Auto 5 or Grand Theft Auto Online, something like that, in VR. I would think 5, the base game, maybe not the online game, because like bad connections, maybe unsteady network connection stuff could cause people to get sick. But yeah, this and Hasib says, conversely, would Sony pass up the chance to announce GTA was coming to PSVR? That's the thing. Sony hasn't announced the launch lineup for PSVR 2. As far as we know, from really, really solid rumors that we were talking about, it sounds like the event is in December. I would love it this month, personally, but I would understand if they're focusing on the PS5, maybe a major PS5 update, hardware update. They're probably going to do some kind of 1-year anniversary event. Usually like the first year, and then the 5-year, 10-year after that are like the big significant milestones to touch base on. But you know, so I wouldn't be surprised if this year is focused on if this month is focused on PS5, and then next month we get our showcase. And when I say showcase, I mean like the big deal, the headset, the launch games, lots more info on that. And I have more to share on that as well, about like what I would want to see for PlayStation VR 2, what I hope to see for PlayStation VR 2, because this is both a huge opportunity for Sony right now, but it's also, if they mess this up, it's big trouble. It is big trouble, because right now this regime is doing a lot of stuff on they have a reputation to uphold, and you know, of course people online are going to hold them to that, make sure they're accountable for it. And you know, people can make mistakes. People are prone to make mistakes. Braxbro says Dreams 2 launch title, let's go. You know, I love to see, there's a bunch of remasters games. You want to talk about PSVR 2, what kind of games, launch games we expect to see. I mean, I expect to see Gran Turismo 7, Resident Evil Village, maybe a Grand Theft Auto, like Grand Theft Auto 5 would be really cool. And like this Horizon VR game that, you know, we think Fire Sprite's working on. And I think that's just the tip of it. You know, if these rumors about the backwards compatibility are true, that means the entire PSVR 1 library will get over there. But if it's not true, but I'm kind of leaning towards it is. If it's not true, though, I would definitely expect to see a lot of remasters at launch. Dreams, like remastered for PSVR 2, eventually at some point. No Man's Sky on PSVR 2. Yes, thank you. Half-Life Alyx is a possibility. If I was Sony, I would absolutely shell out the cash to get Half-Life Alyx as a launch title, or just a launch window title, something like that. There's so many possibilities. People saying BioShock and Red Dead Redemption. And yeah, I agree. All of these would be great. Skyrim. I would play Skyrim again, man. I would. I'd start scratch right from the beginning. I wouldn't give two shits. I would absolutely play Skyrim again with the PSVR 2 if, you know, if done right. But with them being owned by Bethesda now, unless that was in a contract prior, I wouldn't expect them to have to do that. Or I wouldn't expect them. I think they're going to slowly kind of back away. Oh, Alien Isolation. Oh, please no. Yeah, I would love Rush of Blood or Farpoint. Well, you said Farpoint 2. Yeah, I don't know. But the good news is, guys, we're going to get back to this PSVR 2 conversation in just a little bit. Definitely. But first, November. Starting tomorrow, guys, we get 3 PlayStation Plus games. These were bonus games that were announced for the 5th year anniversary of PSVR. And I'm super, super excited about this. I can't wait to tell you. I'll do a mini review on each game. But first, this is what I was kind of complaining about Sony's marketing and the problem I've had with their marketing around VR is that, like, this would have been, when I saw the State of Play recently, they still haven't really established what to expect for State of Play. Right now, they're so few and far between that every time there's a State of Play, we kind of think there's something big. And then they do this, and it's like an indie showcase kind of, which is fine. I love indies. I was playing tons of indies before VR, and still do because of VR. But, there was definitely an expectation that I think was missed. And I was really surprised that they didn't come out and say PS Plus games will now include a bonus game, bonus VR games. And the problem, the frustrating part is, like, there have been so many games starting from the summer, stuff like Sniper Elite and Song in the Smoke and Arashi Castles of Sin, and tons of games that were awesome, like really, really awesome, that look better than some of these smaller indie games, and stuff that you could, and I know that there is some backlash about PSVR because of the dated hardware, yes, but it's about games, man, and I love seeing these games. If you go to the comment section on all these games trailers, people are very excited about them because people are kind of starting to now understand what VR is. And I'm not going to go off on a tangent about my issues with Sony's marketing because I've done it a million times, although I still want to. I still want to repeat it all the time just in case somebody happens to be listening, for the love of God. Real quick, stuff like showing Trover Saves the Universe on E3 in 2018 that absolutely bombed. E3 didn't help it. But then having Astrobot in the PlayStation blog, which is like one of the greatest games of all time. People that don't even play VR are like, Astrobot is one of the greatest games of all time, VR or not. And I remember complaining back then in 2018 about why did they show this game and not Astrobot? Like, what are you doing? This was at a time where we didn't have full games either. So something like Astrobot was a big deal. Real quick, Mad Max, the Metaverse Game Cat VR, says, I think that the reason GTA Trilogy is next gen is coming to NG VR, why it's not dropping until May. Also Hitman Trilogy and the Persistence. Yeah, there's some great remasters. The Hitman, talk about remasters. Hitman would be a great remaster. The Persistence as well. There's so many games that we're going to see once again on the next gen hardware that are going to be amazing in that form. That's going to be the definitive edition, if they will. But guys, this is the thing though. As much shit as I give, some of the leadership, ever since they've taken over, to be honest with you, PSVR has been kind of a train wreck. The bright spots have been because of developers and developers providing us amazing games. But I have hope. I have hope because these guys just had to launch a console for the next 5-7 years during a pandemic, a global pandemic, and that's not easy to do. That affects everything. It's not just chip shortages, it is everything. So I've basically taken the stance of, if there was no pandemic or anything, I'd be outright furious. I'd be calling for them to be fired or get somebody else to do this. But I'm giving them a break, not a pass, but a break, because it is very difficult. But yeah, again, I was frustrated with this last State of Play because I feel like there was a big miss for marketing on the PlayStation Plus games. Like Dave Station in the chat says, they launched Beat Saber multiplayer. Now I know Oculus owns or Facebook or whatever owns Beat Saber, so that one is like a little tricky, but they still launched a trailer on their YouTube channel, so it's not like they weren't allowed to show it. So I really thought they just really could. They really struggle to explain to you why PSVR is awesome. But that's what we're here for, right? we do everything to show you why it's like amazing in so many different ways, and try to show you the best stuff and tell you when to avoid stuff. But anyways, Saints and Sinners is the first PlayStation Plus game starting tomorrow. You better go download it. Even if you don't plan to play any of these, or even if you're listening and you don't have a VR headset, go download these because you might need them in the future. Saints and Sinners is the only game I ever rated above a 9 out of 10. Of course, I didn't review every single game, so but it was the first game to clear to get past 9 out of 10, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. So it's an absolute must play. I still think it's the best game on PlayStation VR. It has a lot more competition, but I think just in terms of innovation and creativity, and also just the game, like just gameplay, I think it is bar none the best. So the next game is The Persistence. Now, this is another game that I would give a 10 out of 10, but it doesn't have move support, which takes away from some of the immersion. You should still play this game. This game is incredible. I've got 40 hours in it and the platinum, and it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, if you're a fan of System Shock 2, you should definitely check this out. Yeah, Nihilus Ryan, I'll get into that in a little bit because I really like Sony's approach to PSVR 2. From what we're hearing, again, there's nothing official from them about what their game plan is. We have to wait for that. All that has come from leaks, and those are accurate leaks, but that is still just leaks. We are still waiting for them, and it has been incredibly frustrating to wait. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that still didn't get a PS5 yet. So that's probably a good reason why they we haven't heard yet. Let's see. Not pushing PSVR 1 now is the right move. It's not what people new to VR should be buying right now. Yeah, I mean, if PSVR 2, I don't know. Well, they did have a Moss Book 2 trailer and did unveil that. So it's just I don't like the half effort or minimal effort. Moss Book 2 was great to show, but why not Song in the Smoke? That was in development for 5 years and was incredible. Why not, Arashi and Fract and all these games? These games looked very exciting. Even if you're not a VR player, these were games that I would look at and be like, wow, these look really good. Yeah, I love Moss 2 Delirium. Absolutely. But anyways, so that's tomorrow. The other game is Until You Fall. I love Until You Fall. It's not my favorite, but it is very, very good. And I do recommend it. It's got a really cool style, and it's got fun gameplay, blistering fast combat. So here we go, guys. I've been on a rant about a couple things. Let's talk about, so I've been a PS5 owner for 1 year now, just about. The Sacred Grove says, do you think we'll get a release date soon for PSVR 2? I don't know. We won't get a release date soon. Maybe we're expected to get something in December that'll showcase some games, showcase the headset. And then, I'm sure it'll say maybe at best we get a launch window. I don't know if they're ready to reveal all that soon, unless it comes sooner than Holiday 22. But right now it sounds like Holiday 2022. Not exactly sure, though. Anything can change, and we don't actually have anything official. But the safest bet, due to the pandemic, is probably Holiday 2022. That's going to be interesting, though, if it is then. Because that's kind of a while, but I don't know. This year flew by, so maybe it won't be as long as it seems, especially if they're giving us more info and announcing more games for it leading up to launch. It'll be very, very interesting. They said they were going to give us more info this year, and they gave us stuff, back in like March? They showed us the controllers, and then that's it. So they didn't really come through on their plans, but here's the thing, is that Sony has typically always let the competition go first. With Xbox, they let Xbox announce stuff first, and then they go. They did that again this year. And so I'm hoping they're learning for what works for them, and that's just all they're doing is they see all these other people making these headsets, and that will eventually come out. And then once everybody else goes, they go, okay, and then show theirs. And yeah, Shades of Grey Matter. Still hoping for a March, April. I would love that. I don't know. Nobody knows that, but the people in charge. I would maybe try to temper your expectations a little bit. Think about later in the year, and if it comes sooner, then great. Et.2k9.now with the tip train. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, dude. Appreciate all of you guys coming here. Like I said, I'm gonna be opening up to the chat in just a little bit. But first, I really want to do my 1 year review of the PlayStation 5 as a PSVR owner, not as just a pure PS5 player, but as a PSVR specific owner. The PSVR is designed for the PlayStation 4. It is not intended for the PlayStation 5, but luckily it is backwards compatible, so you can get your adapter, you can use it on the PlayStation 5, and there are some benefits. There's also some negatives too, but there are some benefits as well, and it really just depends on what these pluses and minuses mean to you. That will mean whether or not it's worth it for you. Personally, I love my PS5 because the benefits I get from it are pretty sick and for what I want. But not everything is perfect. Far from it, in fact. The number one positive I would say about having a PS5 is that some VR games take advantage of the hardware. Hold on. Wait a minute. Uncertainty Principle Pavlov ignoring Science Cat. Tip Train. Love the interactive chat. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate it, Josh. Love you, dude. Yes, and then ET got on the train too. Appreciate you guys, man. But so the biggest advantage, like I said, is that VR. There are some VR games that take advantage of the hardware. Now it runs in backwards compatibility, and it doesn't let them access the full CPU and GPU of the PS5. But for the games that do, in particular, Dreams is one of them. This one right here. This has dynamic resolution, which makes it look incredible. And if you haven't yet, man, I can't wait for those who haven't gotten into Dreams or haven't gotten to experience it because you're on an OG. I can't wait for you to get Dreams on a PS5 and play it in VR to see how good the PSVR 1 headset can actually look. Because there are so many times where I play PS5 and Dreams, and it looks like next gen. It looks like I'm already playing on next gen, and it is absolutely mind blowing. I would have never thought that games could actually look that good on the headset, which shows that a lot of the time it has been hardware. It's been some PS4 hardware limitations that have been the reason. And the headset could actually handle a lot. They made a really, really good headset overall, especially for the time. And yeah, it looks absolutely amazing on a PS5. The other game, of course, is No Man's Sky. That one, both these games, I'm a huge fan of. And to me, these are two of my favorite personal favorite games. So it's pretty amazing to me. And yeah, having back in the day, I always said if No Man's Sky, if I didn't have VR already or PSVR and No Man's Sky was announced for PSVR, I would have gone out right then and bought a headset. Like that, that showcase when they showed all that VR stuff, they could have trimmed some of that out to make people happy and set their expectations. Again, they have a problem setting expectations with state of plays. The only times they get it right are when they specifically tell you what's going to be there, and people are still excited about it. Scott Jesco, PSN NFL, PSVR game cap for life. Thank you so much. Says chew tip, all aboard. Let's get AJ high or something. Oh my God. Okay. But anyways, they really have to get their setting their expectations in order, because I think they still haven't gotten it yet. They're close though. They're close. And I do agree, ET. The sharpness from the new headset is going to help a lot. The Quest 2 resolution looks really nice. It is very, very nice. It doesn't have like the power. The thing that the Quest 2 lacks is like a lot of the detail though. A lot of the lighting, lighting, contrast, things like that. It does lack. But that resolution is noticeable and looks very, very nice. It's pretty nice. The other games, real quick, are Star Wars Squadrons. Definitely gets a boost from PS5. Blood and Truth, as I saw Lethal Weasel or Virtual Strangers in the house tonight. What's up, dude? The Blood and Truth has 90 frames per second locked, I think, and then it has a what is it? Oh, it's actually 4K and then like super sampled. So you get the best best detail possible, and it looks pretty good. I don't think it's necessary. I think having a PS4 Pro is really the least you need for the minimal that you need for Blood and Truth to look amazing. And then let's see. I said Squadrons. Swordsman has some pixel density stuff, and then Firewall does as well. And honestly, the pixel density updates are probably my least favorite, although I did notice it a little bit more in Swordsman than I did in Firewall. Maybe it's the amount that they increase that makes a difference, but I noticed it a good bit in Swordsman. It just it does kind of give stuff a little bit more definition, which is nice. It can when it works right. So those are the advantages of having a PS5 and some of the games that help that are boosted and that are much better. In addition to that, you also get faster load times, and man, it is hard to go back to a hard drive once you've had the solid state drive. I remember people were putting solid state drives in their PS4s anyways, and talking about that a bunch, especially like when Iron Man came out. And it's the faster load times are really, really nice. And any game that I play more often, or like games that are really, kind of more my favorite, I like to put directly on the SSD versus having them just load faster. Yeah, it's nice. It's really, really nice. And you will experience that as well at some point. I can't wait to get some of these tricks like Virtual Strangers talking about Returnal. Yes, I love Returnal. I stopped playing Returnal because I think one day it could get VR support. And so I actually stopped to see. So, but yeah, those are, I would say, the two biggest advantages right now as a user. You get access to most of the library, and some games are boosted. Some games definitely have. Every game has faster load times, which is for everything. But stuff like Dreams and No Man's Sky are like game changers for me for sure. And then any game, Fract as well. Fract has, I forgot to mention that. That has a nice PS5 patch. But anyways, so now let's get to some of the negatives that I've had with the PlayStation 5. Some of my favorite games have some bugs. It's not many games. Most games work on the PS5, but there are, unfortunately, some of the games that have issues or don't work are really good ones. Mainly, off the top of my head, Rush of Blood. I would love for Supermassive to go in and fix Rush of Blood, because it is the reason I bought a PlayStation VR originally. and it's just everyone already knows. Rush of Blood is just it's too good of a title to have issues, and I really hope that they figure out some way to get that fixed, even if they have to do a PSVR 2 remaster. I'm going to be bugging the hell out of Supermassive Games. I don't care if they don't care. I'm going to be letting them know constantly. And yeah, it's just an absolute amazing game. Another one is Battlezone. I tried to get them. I actually reached out to Rebellion about that because I know some people there, and I don't know. It was a very corporate response, but I understand. It's a tall order to ask. They obviously wanted these things, tried to get these things to work. But there's a couple more examples of certain games that have had issues. There's been developers that have gone in though. That's more on the developer, because this is the thing. Saints and Sinners had this when it came to PS5. Because it loads so much faster, it actually makes the pop-in so much worse. And Skydance Interactive actually went in and adjusted it and fixed some of the LOD stuff. And it's like so much more improved now. So that is one of the struggles that developers face while going from PS4 to PS5 is adjusting to that new hardware, adjusting to that new speed, because it had some issues, but we've seen developers counter it. Some of the other negatives, it's just like all these little annoyances. Why did they get rid of theme? Or why did they get rid of themes? I was really, when I first got my PS5, I selected a game, and that game would pop up, and it would play the game's music. And I was like, oh, okay, so they got rid of themes, but every game kind of has its theme now. Well, it's not entirely the case, as some games are missing some things. And what's funny is that I have a PS5 in this room. I have a PS4 Pro in my bedroom, and I have a PS3 in my living room. When I went back to my PS3, I noticed that when you go to a game that you select it, a splash screen comes up and it plays the music of the game. And I'm like, these little bastards, they did not introduce a new feature. They changed it back to what was actually the PS3 interface, where you select a game and it has its own splash screen and there's no thing. But even the PS3 had dynamic themes. So luckily, and I'll get back into this conversation as well, because I don't think this is going to be a problem once we get PSVR 2. The other thing is folders. Man, as some of you guys are saying, yeah, folders are missing from PlayStation 5, and it's so annoying. We had to wait till the end of, I think we got folders in like 2019 or 2020, and it was so nice. It's so nice being able to organize stuff, and they got rid of it. And that's just, again, super annoying. Why are they taking away all these amazing things? And I could go on and go into, like, no more movies, no more other things, but I'm going to leave that for the next section I have after this part. Ultimate Let's Go Sports Team Game Cat Meow says, I used to put all my VR games in their own folder. My whole PS4, PS5 are basically just VR. I had my flat games in one folder and then had like all my VR games in different genres, because I have over 350 PSVR games, so it's easy to separate them into folders. And it was super important and super nice. I hope you're right, Sacred Grove. Who says, hoping they're preparing to bring PS Home back. Yes, me as well. But yeah, so a couple other things. Like a lot of the menu and the UI stuff on PS5 is an absolute mess. You go to the store and you go to there's collections. They worded all this weird stuff. I don't know why they chose the wording that they did. But it's just, I get really frustrated when it's like okay, you want to do something new, that's fine. But PS4 was a big step up from PS3 in the interface wise and the speed and just quality of life features. It was really nice. And then they've just started anew again. And the problem is that it doesn't feel finished. It doesn't feel complete. It doesn't feel polished. It's actually, I'm surprised more people don't talk about how bad the UI and the features and the interface is, because it's pretty damn terrible. And it could be so much better. And it's really just, it could use a lot of tweaking. Like instead of like parties and stuff, it's now game base. And then, it's just so annoying and so many different things. But yeah, man. But on the store is annoying. I just wanted to go to the VR section, and now I have to go to PS4, and then I have to go to filters, and then I have to apply the filters, but then all the games don't show up if you apply the filters, and it just doesn't work. Why is there not just a VR section? Just give me, there's supposed to be one, but it like disappears and comes back. It should know by what I use the most what to like, it's like YouTube can do it. YouTube is really good at recommending stuff based on what I've watched. It actually can recommend other things and has this like algorithm that works really well. Whatever PS5 is using is not good. It does not, it basically just is set in stone, and it doesn't do anything. But yeah, I would love, they just now added new games added to the store. And they just added that. I mean, some of the stuff I'm just like, okay, I know the first year is usually them working out some of the kinks, but this is like the first year of them working on PS5 is to finish it. And that's not good. Usually they're supposed to be working on bugs and working on things to make it better, not finishing it. And that's kind of what it feels like right now. Rody the Game Cat, thank you so much, man. Just taking up the slack, you rock, brother. When you talk to Supermassive, remind them we want Rush of Blood too. I will, because Rush of Blood is still one of the, I mean, it is still a gem of a game. It is still one of the top game, despite being a launch game. Scott Jessica says haptics for Sony wins next gen. Yeah, haptics would be cool if they started to explore that a little bit. Maybe they'd have to get into some, I think another aim controller would be cool. Another aim controller and starting getting into haptics accessories. I think that's where PSVR 2 can maybe go next level. But yeah, man. So the last thing I'll say about the PS5, it's got some other issues. Yeah. I don't wait. Let's see. Confused Game Cat says I don't dislike UI on PS5, but the store is terrible and non-excusable at this point. Like devs releasing a game now with the trigger as a move button. Yes, I agree. There are some things. It's just like, why do we have to go back again? We waited so long for some of these quality of life features, and now it's going backwards. And it's just like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it wasn't that they tried to fix it. It's like they got rid of it and forgot what people said they really liked and started anew. Alberto Mapom says, why can't we search our own library of games? Having a large library is not cool like this. Well, you do have your section where you go. It's got your collections, which is everything you've purchased, and then it's got everything you have installed. And that's cool and all, but there's two problems with that. Number one, again, there's no folders to where you can organize that. You would think that's where the folders section would be. But the other problem I have with that is that when you don't, every newest game you play is on your dashboard on the top, and you see it up there as you recently played. But if you play something new, then it'll replace it, and it'll replace it, and it'll replace it. And the problem with that is that, why can't you pin games? Why can't you pin games? You don't want to give us folders, fine. I want to be able to pin games on my dashboard that I revisit often or play often. I really don't. I don't know why that's not a feature if they're going to take away like folders and stuff. The other thing is when games are off your dashboard from being recently played, you can't check for updates from the collections from the installation folder. So you have to start the game and then let it boot up and then exit it so that it gets back on the dashboard, and then you can press the options and then check for update. And it's just like, that's what I mean. It's just all these extra tedious things that are just really annoying and really a step back in so many ways. And, I hope this stuff gets cleaned up because, I know there's some early adopter kind of woes, growing pains and whatnot, but this is a little too much. The good news here, guys, is that, like I said, at the end of the day, I still love my PS5. It is a lot quieter than my PS4 was, and like I said, some of the games that are critical for me get a huge boost. I'm sure there's a ton of other things that I could go on about that are negatives and positives. I know I didn't cover everything, but those were the ones that I just feel like I frequent the most. And there's another thing like the USB ports. It's got less USB ports, so when you plug in your headset and then you want to use an external storage, there's like no ports left. I mean, you can't even do that. You basically have to have an external USB port, and I like the design of the PS5, but it doesn't look so cool when it's got like ports and adapters and all this stuff hanging out of it. It kind of takes away the point of it of looking cool if it's got like wires hanging out of it and whatnot. Sacred Grove, I agree. I think a lot of the stuff, that's the good news, is a lot of the stuff is fixable with updates. Absolutely. Gaggle the Game Scat says, does your PS4 racing wheel work with your PS5? Yes, it does. I have the T150 Pro, and it does work, and it should work for PS5 games as well. It rarely goes on sale, but when it does, I always post about it. So I'll try to let you guys know again. But yeah, racing wheels, super cool. Again, if Gran Turismo 7, which I think is almost a guarantee. The only reason I can't say it is guaranteed is because I don't have any insider knowledge to it. But it's still like there have been the leadership, Kazunori Yamauchi has said himself, the biggest thing that is going to, the hardware, the PS5 hardware, is going to affect this generation is VR. And I agree with him. When I look at PS5 right now, the jump, there are definitely some upgrades from the PS4. I love that the games are faster, that they're a little bit more powerful, that they look a little bit better. I love the haptics and adaptive triggers. I love those features so much. But they're all like little things. They're all a bunch of little things that just add up to a more pleasant experience. I think what they did get right is that it's still PlayStation. It still plays PlayStation games, and that is awesome. I think the most next gen, here's my hot take for the day. I think the most next generation feeling thing we're going to get from PS5 is the PSVR 2. And I think the PSVR 1 hardware was very experimental. It was a proof of concept. It worked. It did way more than they probably intended on it doing. But it proved that, VR is here to stay, that VR is more immersive way to play games. It also gives some developers new ways to innovate and create and tell stories, tell gameplay experiences. And if this is just the beginning of VR, then we are not, like, PSVR 2 is going to be the golden age of VR. Yes, a Confused Game Cat says PSVR was a duct tape solution. Yeah, it was. It was. I still had my moves from the PSI toy and all that stuff. Off Core says, Do you think Sony with the PS5 should look back at their own previous PlayStation and see what worked and stood out, like UI, adapters, customized? Well, I don't think this regime is really doing that. That's why when people keep saying, so I do think there is some kind of event in December, but when people say it's a PlayStation Experience event, I'm like, hold on. That was like a Sean Layden, Shuhei Yoshida, Andrew House kind of thing. And that's where I get kind of confused. I'm like, yes, they could bring it back. I hope they bring it back. But I really feel like it's just going to be some kind of showcase. Like, I just don't know if I buy it being a PlayStation Experience labeled event. It would be cool because I really liked it. But I don't think Sony has, they haven't figured out they haven't countered their solution for leaving E3 yet. I don't think, they can do some stuff. These showcases that they did, the PS5 reveal was incredible. So props to them for that. But State of Plays are still like hit and miss really hard. State of Plays rarely impress. And if we're lucky, we get like one VR announcement now that makes us go crazy. But even objectively, even if I don't like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say don't like, even if I don't play non-VR games, there's still been some State of Plays where I'm like, well, that was really good. It sucks that we didn't get any announcements. This last one, no. I'm like, oh. And couple that with missing the opportunity to announce some Beat Saber multiplayer, to announce 3 PlayStation Plus games, one being, a game that was nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards, that basically lost against Half-Life Alyx, the game that lost to Half-Life Alyx, and in some cases, I hear PC players that say Saints and Sinners does some things better than Half-Life Alyx. Not my words, their words. So don't be mad at me. Yeah, Moss Book 2 is going to be great. And like I said, man, so that's my point is I think, I think some of these games look amazing that are coming out for PlayStation 5. I enjoyed Ratchet and Clank. It was beautiful. It was stunning. I loved Returnal. That's like totally my type of jam. Demon Souls Remastered was great, but nothing to me is going to feel as next gen as PSVR 2. And I think people will start to see that once the headset comes out. A lot of people from day one have just been waiting for PSVR 2 from the beginning because it's got Sony behind it, man. It's got the games. What I saw from the Oculus showcase, I thought it was really cool, actually. It just didn't really completely seem like it was for me. The way that Oculus is in this direction of, hey, we want to build this world, this metaverse that they're calling it. They want you to be able to live and work and breathe in VR. And it's like, that's cool and all, but some of the stuff, first of all, some of the stuff they mentioned already exists in VR chat. I thought the best thing about their whole showcase was that they announced San Andreas. And the fitness too. That's right, Matrix. That's the funny thing you mentioned there, Matrix, is that people want games, and that's where I stand too, is that I wouldn't have ever even cared about VR if it wasn't for video games. Now, I know there's a lot of people in the VR industry, and I see them arguing on Twitter about the difference between AR and VR every single day, and that's fine. These guys like the tech. They think VR is so much more than just gaming, and that's fine. That is totally cool. I agree that it can be so much more, especially if it could help, from almost like have a medicinal value or a therapeutic value to it, or fitness. Like you said, there are all these things that are great. But gaming, what some of these people don't realize is that gaming is how you Trojan horse this stuff into the mainstream. That is the solution. They are already, they look past a lot of these full games and not realizing that this is what's going to get people attention. Some of these guys don't want AAA games in VR, or they think that, AAA is garbage or not going to help. And that's just not true. And same goes for classics. A lot of people had these amazing gaming experiences back in the day, and they want to re-experience these in a new way, in a new immersive tech. I'm one of those people. What's a good example of a game? Wipeout. Wipeout is a great example of taking a classic and getting to experience it in a way that's better than the original. It is Wipeout Omega Collection. Like, I liked that game, but holy shit, in VR, it is like mind-blowing how good it is. And and yeah, man, like I said, I got nothing against the people that want VR to go beyond gaming. I think these are important people, in fact, because they're still helping to push the technology, to call people out when they're not innovating or being creative. And I think these people are just as important. That's fine. I'm in my lane over here, though. Like just give me the games. But I'm kind of like a hybrid myself, where I want both the big games. Can be indie, can be AAA, can be indie. I don't care what it is. I want the innovative gameplay experiences, the innovative gameplay and storytelling, and I want that with as many immersive features as possible. But I'm okay if a game like Wipeout has to use the DualShock. In the future, I want to see them go more towards being optimized for the orbs. I want to see less third-person cut. I don't want to see third-person cut scenes. There's ways you can cleverly work in third-person, but it doesn't. It's being first-person is just more immersive, unless you're an Astrobot or Moss, and it can still be fun and immersive that way. They can still make third-person games fun and immersive, and it also helps create variety as well, so that you don't get stuck with every single game being the same. Because I don't want that to happen either. But there is stuff that I've given a little bit of a pass, like Resident Evil 7, The Persistence, Hitman 3. These are games that use the DualShock, but were still very good because they were fun games and they were excellent games. That being said, I would take any of those games with the orbs over the DualShock any day. And I hope that seems to be something we see in the future. And I think it is a big possibility. It's just, again, that's part of the growing pains. We used to not even get full games. Now we're trying to get full games that are like really, thoroughly VR heavy features. And that's why I always point to Saints and Sinners, because everything you do in that game is VRAF, as we like to say around here. You grab, instead of a menu that pops up, you grab your journal, you grab your backpack, you grab your weapons from your sides, you grab your weapons from your back. Everything you interact with, and that's what I love about that game so much. Versus, another game where you press a menu and you're sorting through menus and whatnot. It actually makes it an immersive menu system. It's like crazy, man. Things like these are the types of innovation that I really want to see. The other things I want to see are just a couple things when it comes to PSVR 2. Again, I hope the big showcase is in December, and I hope it delivers. I really, really hope they go big with this and offer more than just games. But I'll get to that in just 1 second. Piotrek F with the 10 Planos. Thank you so much. Says, do you think lack of wireless is a big mistake? A big mistake? No. Because I play my Quest plugged in more often than playing it wireless. It is nice, though. It is very nice. Would I think a mistake? No. But I do wonder if there is a possibility of them releasing a second version of the headset, which I could totally see. Give VR1 a couple years, and they say, okay, now we've got a PSVR 2 Pro that is wireless, uses the what is it? The Wi-Fi 6 and the Bluetooth 5.1. The tech is already there. The problem is right now it still needs to, the technology still needs to evolve. I think it will get there. I think before the PS5 life cycle is up, I think we will get a PSVR second headset model that will be wireless. I do think that's going to happen. The problem is the battery life is not. There's not stuff that's fully developed yet. The battery life is one of them. The Quest 2 battery life that it comes with is pretty bad. It lasts like 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. And, that's okay for some people, but then when you need to plug it in constantly, it's like, what's the point of it being wireless if you're constantly playing it wired anyways? But I think that's a great feature, and I think it's an important feature, but I don't think it's a necessity just yet until the technology has a little bit more time to develop. More like 1.5 hours. Yeah, I think it's important. I think it'll be something, a standard in the future, but this tech is still evolving. There's a long way to go before they can have a high capacity battery into a small form factor that will actually fit and not be too uncomfortable and too heavy, and things like that. But great question though. All right. So the last couple things I want to say are like some of the services I'd like to see. The good thing is with PSVR 2, I don't want to see any more theater screen where they said back in the day that they're designing a brand new system for PSVR 2. Well, they didn't say that verbatim because they haven't said what the name is. But yeah, they are designing a new system. So I'd imagine things like themes could make a comeback, which I hope so because I missed that. I want to be able to have my home theme look something like the beginning of PlayStation VR Worlds every time I boot up the headset, or something else. I want it to boot up and have an underwater theme where I'm like in the bottom of the ocean looking around. So many different cool things, a paradise, snowy mountains, tons of different themes like that. It's not only important for consumers to have variety of things like this. It may not sound like a big deal, but it also creates jobs and jobs for artists and designers. And that's what to me is makes it even more important. There's not only like people that would love these type of things, but it also can create revenue for people that create these kinds of things. I would love a movie service. They really, really need a movie service where you can watch Netflix or watch, but with friends. Like watching Netflix and stuff in VR is okay, but I think you need something along the lines of what is it called, big screen or whatever. To where you can actually watch movies with friends in like a home theater. I don't really go to the movies anymore, but I would go to the movies almost every night with you guys in VR. Yes, I would. That would be so super fun. So I hope they find a solution for that as well. All right. So the other thing is, like just different services would be nice. VR related services. People keep mentioning PlayStation Home, and yeah, I think PlayStation Home would be a great counter to the metaverse kind of thing, and it's more gaming focused. It's more social. I don't think Sony should double down on trying to keep up with Oculus and other services as a social group. Because I just don't think social features are Sony's strength. I think their strength is in the hardware and the games and exclusives and different features. But a gaming console first and foremost. All right, guys. So overall, like I said, I'm not completely disappointed with the leadership right now, but I just wanted to be critical on them because I feel like they could do better. And I feel like the messaging has been kind of poor sometimes. The messaging has definitely been poor. It has been controlled by people outside of them. And I expect to see something really positive happen this month. I really think we will get a positive message from them this month. And in December is when we're expecting to see a PSVR 2. And I really, again, hope that is something huge, because I want PSVR 2 to sell at least 20 million, 30 million. I want it to get up there. And if they market it right, they certainly can, and keep those games coming. But they got to release the hardware, man. They got to get the hardware out sooner than later, because that's what's killing them right now. The hardware can sell itself, and it needs games, of course, but the games are going to keep selling headsets. But people are ready. My fear is that Sony falls too far behind and gets just way behind. And I don't want that to happen. I don't think it needs to happen. There's no reason they can't continue to be a leader in this space. But the problem is, I don't know if I fully trust some of the leadership just yet to be able to be leaders in this. But I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised when PSVR 2 rolls around. I think you're going to definitely be in for a really nice surprise. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I've been talking a lot here. So, guys, before we wrap things up, I don't know how I would do 20 questions. I would love to do 20 questions, but that's not going to work right now. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, let's just hang out for a minute before we wrap things up and see what you guys have to say. I'm sorry I missed so many comments. I really wanted to see all of your comments, but it's hard. It's hard, man. Did you? Wolveraza says, did you see the VR phone thing Sony just dropped? I did. I didn't really look into it too much because, I'm into gaming and lots of things like that related. Games for me. I care more about video games than I do anything else with VR. And, well, I mean, of course, I love, like I said, the innovation and the tech is cool, but yeah, I'll have to look into that thing. But, to me, it's just another mobile device, which I'm not really into. I saw some of these other headsets too. What is it? The new HTC Free Flow or something. And it looked kind of cool, but then it was $500, didn't have any controllers, didn't really have any games. And again, this is that other side of the VR space that's like pushing for, how do we get this tech on your head every single day throughout your daily lives and stuff? And I'm just like, no, I just need the shit that lets me hook up to my PlayStation and play. Give me some Twisted Metal in VR or Uncharted in VR, and let me go on adventures and explore and experience new gameplay and new storytelling, like how Farpoint was for the first time again. I missed a tip. Hold on. The Random Guy and Co. Thank you so much for letting me know, guys. It says high capacity, small form factor batteries already exist. The tech is called graphene, and it really annoys me that no one is using it. Maybe it's expensive. Maybe it's expensive. Maybe there's a patent on it to where not anyone can just copy it. Yeah, they've had people talking about that they've literally mentioned stuff like the battery life being an issue. And yeah, it just needs time, man. That's the thing. We also, as much as we love this, we also have to be very patient for this stuff to evolve, for it to come down in price. Everyone's releasing headsets at $500 and everything. Oculus sells theirs at a loss because they make up for it by selling your data, which is sketchy as all hell. But it's okay. They can have my data. I personally don't mind sharing some of it, but there's also ways around that I won't speak of. Jason Ewing. Zombies mode is still in the works. It for Alvo, for those wondering, it's still in the works. They didn't want to release it buggy and crappy Also, I think Alvo, I'm not sure about this, but I believe Alvo got a permanent price drop of $25. And if that's the case, at least that's what I was hearing. And if that's the case, man, that is awesome. That is just in time for this update. Go Alvo devs for reducing it to that price. Finally, finally listening to the community on that one. And that is super huge. Huge. Matrix, yes, we are in the early adopter stage right now, which usually means we get the brunt of the growing pains. Also, before we get out of here, let me give a shout out to over since we've had this push. I've gotten lots more support on the Patreon. Let me give a quick shout out. I see some more questions. I'm not done chatting with you guys just yet. I want to give a quick shout out to Creeper Betty, Deathly the Death Cat, MGS Fritz, Flamehack Game Cat, Tax Refund, John Lucina, Nick Howe, Aussie Scott Game Cat, Brax Bro, Griffin West, Mark Finley, and Looper the Game Cat, who just joined my Patreon today. Thank you guys so much. I'm still working my other part-time job, but the good news is that my big projects on my other job are finished. So now I will have a little bit more free time to pull some extra weight around here while Brian gets some rest, some much needed rest. Delirium Jew, thank you so much for the donation, man. And yes, thanks for the chat. He says send Game Cat love to Brian. Of course, Brian knows we all love him, and he'll be back soon, man. It's a lot of work again for him, especially. It's day in, day out, 24/7 work. So, let's see. Old Darth says, "Do you think?" And by the way, guys, when I see a question, I read it for the first time. I don't really scan the questions, so if you make a bad question, it's on you. Do you think wireless VR on the PS5 will use direct communication between the PS5 and the headset? Can't see it working through home Wi-Fi at all. Yes, it will. What I would imagine, Old Darth, is that the PS5, PSVR 2, if they make a wireless VR headset solution, which I think they will in the future, if it seems like a good idea. I think what will happen is that you will use the direct connection via the Wi-Fi 6 or Bluetooth. You'll have a direct connection to the PS5, but then if you want to walk around the house, then both go on the same Wi-Fi network, and if your connection is stable, then you'll be able to walk around the house with your Wi-Fi router. Pretty good, right? I know. Stupid Donkey says, AJ, when are you going to hire Brian? That dude is expensive. Let me tell you, I don't think I have the money to hire him. He is very, very expensive. He is a hot commodity on the market right now. His stock, everyone's buying in the stock right now, man. So I mean, maybe now is the best time. Hashtag hire Brian. I love it. Oculus AirLink uses the router to connect, and it kind of sucks. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends probably on your. I'm sure part of it's hardware, but some of it's going to depend on your network as well. Obviously, having a better network is going to help. Sony is not known for great Wi-Fi, though. I hope they did improve it, Rody. They improved it with Wi-Fi 6, so it is it is going to work. Braxbro says invest in Brian Coin today. I love it, man. Love you, Brian. Hope you're out there, man, and having some fun getting your house cleaned. Let's see. Just got in, dude. But you know if San Andreas. What up, Jamie Slark? But do you know if San Andreas will come to PSVR later? They didn't say exclusive. We had this chat at the beginning. They did not say exclusive, despite what other outlets are saying. I think we'll get like another GTA first. I think we'll get like GTA 5. And then I think it may be a timed exclusive with Oculus. But they didn't say exclusive, so I don't know. For me, my stance is no, it is not exclusive to Oculus Quest yet. Until they clarify that and say that it is. But with Sony having a partnership with Rockstar, it all depends on when everybody signed the ink, right? Because if they sign the contracts, whoever signed the contract first, they have to honor that. They cannot override those contracts, or else they get a lawsuit. It's just like how Microsoft bought Bethesda, and Bethesda owned and Microsoft owned Bethesda released a PlayStation VR exclusive. They're also releasing Ghostwire Tokyo, a PlayStation 5 exclusive. They have to honor the contracts. Once it's done, it's done. And a lot of this stuff sometimes can be 2-3 years, all the way up to 5 years in the works. Song in the Smoke just came out. That was that contract was made 5 years ago. So, that's it really just matters when everybody signed the ink. Wireless. Let's see. Any other questions here? 3D Rudder 2.0 toe tracking and built Twitcher. Get out of here with that, man. Yes, they also released. Thank you. I knew there was another one. Deathloop was also timed. Is that a timed exclusive? Oh, well. We've had this chat about exclusives, whether they're good or bad. I think they're good, but it's easy for me to say that as a Sony fan, as a longtime Sony fan. Although I'm starting to get the other side of that now with Oculus playing it smart, getting Resident Evil 4, and potentially San Andreas as well. Those are good pickups. Here's the thing, though. I love San Andreas. I also Vice City, all those games. When it comes to making money, I guarantee you a Grand Theft Auto 5 will sell 3 times as much as San Andreas will. There's a lot of people that, again, the sentimental value of having San Andreas is huge, but the financial value of having Grand Theft Auto 5, which sold 120 million copies, that is going to make more money. So I think Sony's going to be focused on that one because Jim Ryan likes money. Yes, he does. He's just like, money. Where's the PS5 Discord at? Could it go VR? That'd be cool. Discord is now partnered with PlayStation. Another great pickup. That's going to bode well. Make sure you guys join our Discord if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you are already in there. But we got an awesome community, as you can see in the chat. Best community on the internet. Don't care what anyone else says. Friendliest, most inclusive, hardcore, lovable gamers. A little wild, too, sometimes. But that's okay. The Random Guy & Co., thank you so much for the donation. The Wi-Fi 6 card in the PS5 is all you will need. Yes. If y'all want to learn the nerdy tech stuff behind how it all works, Google IEEE 802.11ax. Yes, that is the Wi-Fi 6 card, and yeah, it's not even really being used very much yet. I mean, I guess unless you have a Wi-Fi 6 router, I guess you can take advantage of it. Again, there's still a lot of stuff that's kind of like, this is the beauty of where PS5 is at right now, is that there's a long way to go, a long way to go, and this is the first year. We're used to this always being the kind of growing pains, working out the kinks. Again, we didn't get folders until the very end of PS4 life cycle. So the stuff that we're probably going to end up getting with PSVR 2, the stuff that's just going to be on the PS5, we have the best is absolutely yet to come. And that's the most exciting part. Oh, Lord. Okay, I've been up here for a while talking about God knows what. Well, guys, best part of PSVR 2 getting orbs is the back catalog of games. Yes, it would be nice. What we know, again, Sony has a heavy focus on remasters and bringing AAA games and getting indie and encouraging indie developers to make VR modes. And, some are going to get it right. Some are going to get it wrong. We'll praise the ones that get it right and be like, look at what these people did. Look at what people like this did and made. JAPR 2021, what's up, dude? Thank you so much for the donation. Says, I hope PSVR 2 has both wireless for sport/active games and wired for high-fidelity story games. Yeah, that's the ideal situation, is a hybrid headset. The tech is there. The good thing about it being the good thing about being wired at launch is that it can help the price be a lot cheaper. It can help the form factor be a lot slimmer and more comfortable. That's what we're talking about when we talk about evolving tech, is being able to have all that cool tech, but also it being small and comfy and non-expensive. And that's why I think there's going to be a second headset model later down the line. Do you think they'll start porting? Wolveraza says, do you guys think PlayStation will start porting the current PSVR games over like mad? Well, I think PSVR games that were very successful have a good chance of making it over, and I think they will definitely. There's got to be some. Got to go to bed soon. Later, Scott Jessica. Thank you guys for the chat banter, man. Oh man. Well, guys, thank you so much, man. And let's see if there's any more questions. Shades of Gray Matter says, what do you think about an optional battery pack Wi-Fi adapter if you could fit it into your pocket for a wireless solution? An optional battery pack Wi-Fi adapter. I'd rather just have a for a wireless solution. I'd imagine it'd have to be something built in the headset, or most likely. The problem is you get too many devices, too many wireless devices, and the stability becomes a little less reliable. So that is a potential problem. But guys, this was so much fun, man. Went on for an hour and a half, and thank you for letting me rant and talk about things. I love my PS5. I'm really excited about the future of it. And of course, Gamescast Live will be back very, very soon. And I'm looking forward to getting back with my buddy Brian, because it's a lot harder to do this by yourself. But thank you guys, man. You guys really just so helpful, and I really appreciate you. And this was a lot of fun, man. And I look forward to the next one. We'll be doing these till Gamescast returns, and just having some random impromptu things. I'll try to get it all good and whatnot. But thank you guys so much, man. You guys have a wonderful rest of the night. And join our Discord if you haven't. Again, thank you to all the Patreon supporters. Donatello Scientist Game Cat, or Josh76. Thank you, man. Patreon leader. And Cynthia, thank you for a Patreon leader. And to all my generals, officers, all you guys, thank you. I hope to post some more content in my Patreon soon. Again, some extra additional content. That was a lot of fun, though. I will see you guys again soon. Later, y'all.